Hello and welcome to a brand new episode of the Woolly Thistle Shopcast. This is episode number 200 and blah blah blah. 202. Wow. So yes, we've been at this a few years now and we're up in the 200s, which is really exciting. And it's August, so it's still hot outside, still rainy, but cooling off. It's been a strange...
very rainy summer.
Yeah.
I know that there are some places that are just
in the heat like crazy.
And would really love some rain.
Yeah.
If I could send our rain it's needed,
I know, you're very generous. Share and share and share.
I'm sure our Vermont neighbors would be thrilled to send some rain.
Exactly. Yeah. But last month was our birthday month and we have finished all those celebrations. It felt really, really good. We need to, let's tell everybody what the status is with the bunting, because I'm sure they're all dying to see their bunting.
We got so many in the mail. You and I need to sit down and record a special episode where we just show all the amazing little bunting triangles that you all sent in.
Yeah, there was loads.
So many.
Yeah, and really lovely ones, and all of them were very special.
They're absolutely all wonderful.
So we will maybe have that out before the next episode. You think we could do that?
I'm not going to promise that because things have been really busy here. Yeah. But we will put that together, and then we need to start connecting them. Yeah. And then hanging them around the shop.
Yeah. But thank you so much. We will be doing that. Like you say, we are busy, even though it's sweltering summer and rainy summer. We're still, you guys are still knitting, and we love that. And before we go any further, I should tell you who we are. In case you're new here, my name is Corinne. I own the Woolly Thistle. This is Maggie, employee number 1, and also great person and our product development manager. So yes,
thank you.
This is us.
When she says employee number 1, it's
I mean the first employee, not the best by any. No, I'm kidding.
But just to be clear, like we have an amazing staff.
We really do. Thank you for saying that, because I didn't think that. Yeah.
I was hired first.
Yes, first hire. Been around forever. Just won't go home. Says she'll work for free. But anyway, that was lovely. So so that's who we are. This is the Woolly Thistle. We're an online yarn shop specializing in yarns from the UK, Europe, and all the sort of cooler climes. And we love non-superwash woolly wool, although some superwash does make it in, especially in sock yarns.
Yeah, especially in socks.
But woolly wool, traditional wools that are really great for color work or cables, all the things. We just love it. For me personally, knitting with woolly or wool means that it's a very tactile experience that goes beyond its softness. There's all kinds of different hands that these wools have, and they connect you to the sheep that it came from and the place in the world that it came from, and you just have this sort of very all-round experience when you're knitting with yarns that are not purely superwash, mass-produced, that sort of thing.
Well, because superwash, the process of superwash just really changes the wool.
It does.
So
literally,
I know my making has become very wool-centric. That happened really when I started spinning.
Yeah, I bet. Spinners
sort
get
of
this.
Addicted to, especially I really enjoy spinning wool. Like you could spin lots of different fibers. Yeah. But so much of my making is now about wool. And there is so many different wools and breeds and blends of breeds, and then blends of breeds in the sheep, and then blends of breeds in the wool after it's shorn. And it's a really, really fun way to have almost a full body experience when you're knitting your knits. And then and then there's all the knitting that you do as well, and the patterns and the designing and all of that stuff. So this is just a wonderful, wonderful hobby or way of life. I consider myself a daily knitter who is living a knitter's life. How about you? Yeah. I mean, I have so many memories that are tied up in me.
Yes.
Yeah, so
exactly.
I just can't imagine. I think I would drive everyone in my life crazy if I couldn't knit anymore.
And sometimes, occasionally,
or I'd start just weaving more.
Exactly. You'd be weaving and doing more spinning. Yeah. Sometimes on a day, if I don't get to knitting, I can go back and just go and feel all the wool in the back of the shop there in the warehouse, and that's always nice. Yeah, in a pinch. For sure. So this is us. I'm sure that you can relate to being a daily knitter maybe, or that you're, you know, starting your investigation of yarns beyond, you know, mass-produced stuff or superwash or whatever. No shade on them. You know, I think I knitted with superwash and just loved the colors that you could get with that. But after a while, you know, the garments that I knit with them, they don't hold up. Whereas knitting with woolly wool, unadulterated wool, they get better with age. They soften and just they last. They hold their shape. So I could go on and on and on.
You're a big fan of woolly wool.
Let's just say that. For sure. And so are you guys though. You know, we found our people because you love it too. So if you're just starting on your journey into this, you are more than welcome, and just enjoy the trip because there is so much to know and so many curiosities for you to winkle out yourself and become an expert on, and you know, stuff like that. So it's really awesome. But anyway, back to the show notes. We do want to point out that we are no longer running ads on our YouTube channel because we prefer that you get to watch this uninterrupted by advertising. And we hope that in appreciation of that, you check out the Woolly Thistle online and maybe even place an order sometime. That would be great. Let's see. Maggie, can we talk about pips? Yeah, I haven't really talked a lot about pips, and they're taking off like wildfire. So let's share them. Do you want to talk about them?
Sure. So we started a Woolly Thistle rewards program, and every time you shop, you earn pips, which are points in progress.
Yes.
Similar if you're a knitter, works in progress. So pips. So you earn your pips based on every purchase, and then your pips, as they pile up, your pips equal money off of your next order.
Yeah. Yeah, so it's, you know, it's your classic loyalty program, but it was time that we started that, and you need to have an account, I think, to redeem.
So yeah, so when you're shopping, whenever you're shopping, just make sure you're logged into your account. Whatever email that you use, that's your account. So
yeah, and it's not a big deal. Just log in, and then your pips will be automatically put in your account. And some people are collecting a nice number of pips, and then you can spend them whenever you want, which is really great. And sometimes we plan to have special offers where maybe it's double pips for that product or for an amount of time. So we will start having ad hoc things like that to try and boost your pips as well. Okay, and what do we have in the show for contributors this time?
We have Caitlin joining us, and Rachel from Fair.
I've already watched it. It's another lovely one. And and Caitlin. Oh, Caitlin goes to her state fair in Indiana. That's cool. So yes. Let's see. So let's get started. Do you want to announce the winner right off the bat before we get going?
Yeah, let's do that because we're really bad. We usually leave them
out.
I know. So our first winner is at Mona Carter Knight 8117, and Mona says, "You knock my socks off with joy and energy with which you share your projects, yards, whips, wishes, and woolly wisdom. I feel inspired to finish my own and get ready for the Sweater KAL. Thanks all for your efforts to bring these programs to us."
Thank you.
You are so welcome, Mona.
Yes.
Mona, if you can email us at info@thewoollythistle, put prize winner in all caps, we will get you your $25 gift card to the Woolly Thistle.
Yes, and if you would like to be in the running next time, we usually pick 2 winners per episode. Just leave a comment below. Make sure you follow our channel, and
be sure to like and subscribe.
Yes, give us a thumbs up and leave us a lovely message. So all right, so that's that. Shall we talk about knitting now?
Yes.
And we're not wearing wool, but
I'm wearing, I don't think this one's not available in the shop.
That's the old original. Yes, I'm wearing Farrell Joy. And I like to think of myself there sitting knitting, and maybe it's Rachel if she ever gets time to sit and knit. But this is Joy, who is our little mascot for the shop, and she's on the island of Fair Isle, which is craggy rocks, and she's got some sheep and our knitting. So these are currently in the shop. They're not fairly new, they are new. So yes. Yeah. Did you bring any knitting or crochet or anything?
I brought so much stuff today.
Did you? Yeah. I did too. So let's see.
Yeah. So I brought, I had mentioned on my Instagram, I have a crochet granny stripe blanket that I've been working on for years. Oh, literally years.
This will be good.
And I have,
it is good.
I've determined how long I want it to be.
For all that I just talked about.
I know. So, I determined how long I want it to be, and I calculated how many rows I need to add. to get it done by the end of the year.
It's gorgeous.
So
oh my gosh.
It is pretty wide. Like if you open it up, like it is. So at this point, a row takes me almost 30 minutes.
All right, can I just say, this is so soft.
I know, it is.
It's
so
gorgeous.
it's really a mix of, I pick at random. I have a giant bag here.
Oh, what fun. Full of yarn?
That is full of yarn.
Oh, just want to dive in.
And it's mostly fingering weight. It's a lot of like yarn left over from socks.
Yes.
This was, I think, coop knits. So it's fun. Beautiful. It's fun to go down sort of memory lane of sock knitting.
Yeah.
You can tell I tend to veer towards the same colors.
It's beautiful though. It gives it some kind of, you know, harmony and yeah, it's lovely.
So I'm trying. My goal is to add 5 rows a week.
Wow.
And then it should be done by November, and then I'll have to do the border. And I'm not.
Are you doing a chain one in between your?
Nope.
So it's just double, double, double. Is that what it is? Is that double?
Yeah.
Oh, it's raining.
American doubles. So yeah, it's just 3.
Pouring rain.
I think I used the Attic 24.
I love her.
But I think hers was like a heavier weight. So I did make notes, I think, on my Ravelry of how many I cast on, or chained.
And what's going to be the ultimate use for this? Oh, look how bright you get down at the bottom.
I know, yeah. So I started off really bright.
Yeah.
But I really don't plan the colors. I really kind of just pick at random.
That's what
I do occasionally. The only thing I do kind of mindfully keep note of is if I've not had a white or whitish row in a while, then I'll pop that in.
Is that because you have a lot of it, or
no, just to kind of
lighten it up,
give it a bit of brightness? Because otherwise it'll get pretty dark. So
so fun.
But I try not to micromanage the colors too much.
So yes,
and I know I should weave in ends, but I won't. So I'll save it till the end. And
will you put a border on? Do you think?
Yeah, so I will put a border on.
Okay. Fantastic, beautiful, beautiful.
So I've been working on this a little bit every week. I probably won't show it again until November when it's done. I pull it out now and it's big enough that it sits on my lap, which is just what you want in
August.
But the cats now come running. Like they see this and they're like, oh, it's blanket time.
Well, it's funny because I was looking for mine that I was working on, and I started mine years ago too in Plymouth worsted weight or something.
Oh wow. So that's heavy then.
It's heavy, and I didn't know what I was doing, so I cast on more than you need for a king size bed. So my rows are absolutely very long, and I have knit about, you know, this much. I've not crocheted about this much, but it's still at my ex's house, and so I asked Maya, hey, do you still have that? She's like, yeah, but the cat sits on it, she sleeps on it. I'm like, okay, so I don't have it to show. All right.
But do you have an FO?
I do have an FO. I finally finished my shawl. Do you want to take?
Gorgeous.
Oh, and it's so big. And it's gorgeous. And it's knitted in Rambler, our own sock yarn. This is 100% wool. And the design is Halligarth by Gudrun Johnston. And it's immense. So it comes in 2 sizes. I knit the larger size because I like big shawls.
It'd be funny if this wasn't the larger size.
Right? So it's going to keep me warm because it's going to stay on. Covers my back. Good portion. Yeah.
Beautiful.
And I stuck with this. I was very monogamous. Lace is not my friend usually, but I did finally get the hang of this, although I'm sure there's a bajillion.
That's okay.
We're not gonna look. Fine. No. I'm okay with that.
I mean, there's nothing that glaringly stands out, so you're good.
Yeah, I loved it. I did rip back a few times because I did have glaring, but the blocking of this was just...
probably very satisfying.
Yes, and the wool has just really memorized, the opened up shape. So it's got lots of drape, and it's just... I love it. I'm so happy with it. I'm going to be wearing this a lot, I think.
So we do have a restock of Rambler coming in later this month.
Yes.
And we will put together little kits.
This took a good 2.5 skeins to knit this size, but you know, you're going to get so much wear out of this. So yeah, we are going to put kits together. It's got a lovely, what do you call that, applied border here. Which was
Did you like doing the applied border?
Yeah, I did. Once I get the hang of it, you know, I feel like I knit the whole thing, just got the hang of this, and then I had to change it up. It's not perfect, but then whatever I do is not perfect, but it's lovely.
I see you also didn't want to weave in your ends.
Oh, I forgot. I was. Oh, well, I did weave in my ends, but then I missed some. I guess I looked, but I must have missed them. So yeah, I'm very thrilled to have an FO number 1 and to have this be the FO number 2. So
it's beautiful.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm really, 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 and it's squishy. Look.
Yeah, it is. It feels really, really nice.
Yeah, so this yarn is amazing in socks. It's a sock yarn, but it's 100% wool as well. So I wanted to test it out, and it's got lots of drape at this gauge in the lace. I think it would have drape in lots of situations. It's a fingering weight yarn.
Yeah.
And I'm in love with it. So
beautiful.
Yes, very excited. Thank you. Do you have any FOs today?
I do not, but I'm really close.
Okay.
I'm really close. Yeah. So, getting ready for the Sweater KAL. I finally got a bee in my bonnet about finishing my sleeves. So I was so close.
It's been a while since we've seen this.
Yes.
Oh, I
so
love it.
I have finished.
Is this yours?
So yeah, so this is mine, and I tried it on. It absolutely fits great. So it'll.
You're just a teeny tiny thing.
It's funny because it scrunches up so much before it's blocked. This is the Klee by Midori Hirose.
Yeah.
And when you do those little squares at the top, it kind of cinches in. But it's nice and smooth. The floats are great.
My gosh, feel this.
I know. I know. It's so good. That's exactly what Garfield was doing this weekend. Leave it on the sofa and he'd be like,
it's lovely.
In it. So
I hope you don't mind.
No, I don't. I put one sleeve is done. The other one is so close.
Yes.
I'm in the home stretch, so it'll probably get finished tonight. I'll block it and I will show you guys.
Yes, it'll be great to see the block versus pre-block.
There is a little kitty
claw
there.
Yeah, a little bizzum.
But that's
okay.
It's fine.
Yes.
So I'm so excited.
It's beautiful.
And then of course Irene, my youngest, was like, "Where's mine?" And I'm like, "Oh, it's coming."
Working
on it.
And
then I also pulled out. So for the Sweater KAL, we have our Sweater KAL coming up. So my goal is to get this done so I don't have to worry about it before the Sweater KAL.
Right. Clear the deck.
But it'll be done in the next couple of days.
Yeah. The other thing we were doing in July was cawing our knits. And did you do yours?
I did.
Yeah.
And it was funny too because I was like, there's one shorty I can't find.
It was in here.
This is how brilliant I am. Yeah, it was this one.
I do that all the time.
So they are all accounted for.
Yeah. That's how
it didn't occur to me until I was knitting on this. I was like, oh.
That's where it is.
Super smart.
I know.
But yeah, so I did caw my knits.
Which means we're using cawing as a word from Fair Isle where they caw the sheep, and that's calling them in. So we were cleaning up our languishing whips and yarn and stash and whatnot.
Yeah, so it was really interesting. I don't think of myself as somebody who knits just one sock, but I found 3 single socks.
Oh, look at you. Self-awareness is the start.
And my needles were like, I had lots of project bags where apparently the minute I finish a project, I just leave everything in that thing and off I go to the next one. And so there were so many needles. That was the big highlight.
You found lots of needles.
There were lots of needles just left behind in other old project bags. So mostly it was yarn going back. I did decide, I made a decision with my West Knit shawl. I didn't rip anything out.
Oh, good. Good.
Well, that's not true. So there was like a little section that I had started on where I stalled, so I ripped that out. And that left me with live stitches down both sides.
Yeah.
And I just bound off.
Okay, good. Yes. So now you've got this if you ever want to start again.
Right. So I'll probably just leave it as it is. I might add tassels because I've got where you have the braids.
Could you hang it on the wall as a...
I could. So this way, at least
dart?
Mentally, it's finished for me. I don't know that the finished shawl is something I was going to wear a whole lot anyway.
But
so
the part you're keeping is where you had the braids.
Yeah, so where the braids were, and then there was a little bit of wingspan there. So I didn't actually, I only ripped out like this little tiny bit because you have to like build up.
Yeah.
I was so not feeling it. So at least this way I feel good about it. I didn't rip anything out.
Right. I was very against you ripping it actually.
It's kind of done. I blocked it. But I need to make some decisions like about the loops that are there. They'll hold. It's woolly wool.
Tassels. You need tassels.
Yeah, I can add tassels or something. So
fantastic. I'm glad you came to a resolution for yourself of that suited what I wanted to.
There you go.
Because I can make us both
happy.
Yes, thank you.
It's funny too because I was very like, well, who cares?
Yeah, I was
and
like,
even my sister was like, you can't rip that out.
No, like you went through an odyssey knitting that thing. We all did. Watching you, like, what is this? Look at this. It's crazy. So it's a bit of history. bit of Stephen West history there.
It is. It's good, and I really enjoyed. I enjoyed it while I enjoyed it, and then when I was done enjoying it, I feel like I came to a good resolution with it, which is good.
Good. I have more knitting. Do you?
I do. I have some swatching that I did, but why don't we see what you're working on?
So I am working on my Latvian mitten, and we had a quick Latvian mitten call with folks who had purchased this. It was full up, and we had a lovely call with them, people who were casting on as well, and we are getting more of these in. I have to say, this box divides the household as to whether they love it or hate it. So it's sort of this corrugated, which I like. I
really like the box.
But I think my daughter was like, all those lines don't like that. I'm like, okay. And my son really liked it because, you know, and the cat, I'm sure the cat would love that.
My cats have totally ignored my Latvian mitten box.
Oh, really?
They could care less.
So anyway.
They like the yarn. It does pass the cat test.
So inside your box, you get lovely full size. We decided this is the size of the mitten pattern. And then you get the written instructions here. And I'm knitting with 4 colors. I am enjoying this. Nice. So get me.
So you hit your groove.
I hit my groove. And do you know why I hit my groove? Well, first of all, let me show you. I balled these up, but it comes with 4 colors, and this is the base color. And I have now knitted this much. Oh, not 1, not 2, not 3, 4 colors in a row. What the heck? So I hit my groove when I decided to only keep the main color on the ball. And then I'm just taking 2 arm lengths and breaking the yarn for the rest. Because if you're trying to knit, you end up with just a massive mess of colors. So now I only have to manage this stuff. And when I get to the end, I just, join in. So I'll have lots of ends. And you can see I'm not catching floats because I'm not going to worry about stuff like that.
Next time.
Yeah, and I actually think these would be really tight anyway, but that's something to consider, is if you're knitting with a lot of colors, you're going to fill up the space. So you might not want to go down to a 00, which is what this is.
Yeah.
For me now, I think this is purely an exercise in knitting with so many colors.
Yeah.
And on double points. I'm not a DPNer, but I'm actually getting the hang of this. And I'm pretty stoked. It's come out nice.
It is. Oh, that feels really nice.
It feels very squishy because of all that yarn in there. So these are really reasonably priced as kits. So I wouldn't be too precious about being worried about catching floats and stuff. I mean, yes, of course, if you want to catch floats and you've got long floats, because it is a mitten, but you're not wasting a lot of money giving this a go, is sort of how I feel about it. And I'm actually learning that I can just sit and knit on this and watch TV and go round and round.
Nice.
Because it's a very easy repeat. Some of them are not symmetrical repeats.
Right.
So we will have lots of different sets that you can choose from.
Yeah. I didn't bring mine today. The one that I've been working on.
Yeah.
Since our Zoom, it has not gotten any attention because I was on Sleeve Island.
Yeah. No, I picked this up and I'm like, I want to figure
out. I'm really enjoying it. Yeah.
Yeah, it's really good. And the DPNs I'm getting the hang of. At first, I just kept forgetting that I had to use the 5th one, and I was knitting right onto the 4th one all the time, or the 1st one. I don't know what number, but I got over that. So yeah, highly recommend. It's a challenge, but I've got the hang of it, and I think just breaking the yarn made all the difference. Oh, and also the other thing is I am using the red in my left hand, which is the dominant color hand, but this is the background. So I really should be knitting the red in my right hand.
Right.
But I made the conscious decision that I'm going to do it in the left hand because that's going to make managing these 3 other colors all the faster. So I used the right hand for the 3 colors, and I used the red for the background in my left hand, and I'm going faster. So it's not right, but I don't think we're having any problem.
Too right or wrong, as long as you're okay with the results and the outcome, then I think do what you want to do. Right.
And I don't think it's so bad that you would be like, oh my god, you're knitting that in the other hand.
Right.
So yeah.
I think of all the projects that I knit before I knew anything about color dominance, and I still like them. They're just fine.
Yes. So I keep it in this little
it's funny, mine lives in the box too.
Yeah, it's perfect. So I'm very happy with that. I will keep knitting that. I'm getting close to where I need to start messing with the thumb. We do think that the instructions are all you need to knit these mittens, but it does take some knowledge for granted. But that's why we did a Zoom call, was to sort of talk about those things.
Yeah.
And it's not anything any knitter can't overcome, for sure. And we're here to help.
We did record the Zoom call, and I think we're going to make it available.
Oh, good.
Anybody
Yeah.
can just watch it on the YouTube channel. So, yeah.
Okay, what else are you knitting on?
So I swatched for the Sweater KAL.
What are you knitting in the Sweater KAL?
So
Which starts August 25th.
I don't remember the name of the cardigan.
Loads of time yet. So if you want to knit with us, who's the designer then?
Amy Sure is the designer. I want to say it's like an everyday cardigan.
Is it a kit we're doing, or is it out of a book?
No, it's just the pattern that's on Ravelry. I'm actually knitting a sweater for my oldest daughter.
Yeah.
She wants a cardigan.
Right.
I had already swatched using Rama Fivel, but she wasn't sure about the colors, and then we received some Mota from WoolDreamers, and this sat on my desk for weeks, and I couldn't resist anymore. So, so I swatched this weekend.
Oh, it feels so
nice.
Oh, it's lovely.
So I swatched. It's finally dried this morning, so I need to count and see.
How would you describe the hand in that?
It's woolly. It's not prickly.
It's soft.
It is soft.
It's
It's
almost
soft
velvety.
but rustic. Like, I think that this is the Spanish Merino. I have the Mota label.
It's almost velvety.
Yeah. So it's Spanish Merino and Manchega.
So it's a blend of the Manchega and their Spanish Merino. So it's got a dry hand, if that makes sense, but it's you got nice stitch definition. You can see her yarn overs there, really good, and even the stitches themselves.
Yeah. So the interesting thing, so I often knit in the round now, and knitting this cardigan is knit flat. And so I'm having to really watch my tension. I noticed this too when I swatched with the Fivel, that my purling rows,
looser?
It's looser, yeah. So I'm often having to like tug and snug. So I'm working on just tensioning. And trying to maybe have a firmer tension so that I don't have to quite tug as much.
Interesting. Yeah, so you will get different gauge if you're knitting in the round, always knitting, versus knitting back and forth where you're purling back.
Yeah, so I swatched flat because the cardigan's knit flat.
Exactly. So if you're knitting something that you're going to actually knit flat, you need to swatch in the flat.
Yeah, so, and you can kind of see, I'm willing to sort of share here on the back side, especially you can see there's a bit of unevenness like right here. That means that purl row was a little bit bigger. So on the front you can see it a little bit. It's not dramatically bad.
I'm going to say that for hundreds of years I'm sure that didn't bother anyone.
No, but you can see like on the top here, it is more even because I purposefully like worked on my tension.
Okay,
so I think I can.
That's great though. It's a
goal is just to
practice. You know, you're sort of in the moment making sure these stitches are even.
Yeah. And if it ends up having, like, I think it'll have a little bit of this, and I'm okay with that. But if I can make it more even, why not?
Is it more to do with the row gauge, or is it the stitch width as well that affects, do you think?
I don't think it's the row gauge. I do think it's my tension when I'm knitting, because you can see on the back side that there's a sort of unevenness to the stitches. Like this row here, they're not snugged up as much. Yeah. So I think it's a tension issue, not a row gauge.
I think it is important. So it's easier to swatch flat because you're just going back and forth. It's important though, if you're going to be knitting in the round, that you swatch in the round for that, because it will make a difference.
Yeah. So I've swatched. I need to count and see if I got gauge. So I started with a size 8 needle, which is what I got gauge on with the Fivel. So I'm hoping that I'm close.
Have you counted yet?
I haven't counted. It was wet. I put it like I hung it to dry last night, and it's finally dry. So, so I do recommend wait till it's dry. Yep. Even if you think it won't really change.
And another thing that might not be obvious is if you are going for a specific gauge and you have your gauge swatch and you wash it, you know, you let it soak for half an hour, you know, get all the water out, and then you lay it flat, and then you get your tape measure and you stretch it or contract it to the gauge you're looking for, and let it dry like that. So you can do that where you're trying to actually aim for the gauge that you think you want, or you can just lay it flat and see how it behaves on its own, and then count and see what gauge you're getting.
I tend to, with wool, and maybe different fibers will react different ways, but knowing that wool will want to contract back to a certain, you know, sort of baseline, I like letting the fabric kind of relaxed. Like I try not to pin it too much. It's one thing if it's going to be a shawl and I want to stretch it out.
Yeah.
But like I think when left to its own devices, the wool is going to do what it's going to do.
It is.
So.
But, well, I'm not saying you overly stretch it though, but I'm saying, you know, for me, I see if I can get it into the parameters I want comfortably so that it is, because when you finish your garment and you block it, do you just lay it flat and what will be? So I do that sometimes.
Like I'll lay and like make sure that the shape is right.
Yeah.
But
I will take a tape measure to mine, and if it's supposed to be 22 across, I stretch it, or I
right.
You know, so that it fits. But yeah, I mean, these are things you can do if you want to. Mm-hmm. And see how the wool behaves. Yeah.
So I really like the washed. It feels really nice.
Yeah, this Mota is lovely. It's doing well in the shop.
Mm-hmm.
All of WoolDreamers products are doing extremely well.
Yeah.
So they are a good company.
Yeah. So this is the natural gray, which I think is now out of stock, but we have a restock coming very soon.
Yes, we do. Yes, we do. That's fun. I think that's what I brought for my knitting.
I have one more whip.
Oh, let's have a
you
look.
can tolerate one more whip.
Well, I do have a whip in progress, but it's not had any progress.
Oh, I actually have 2 more whips, but I can just show one.
That's okay. Show us all your whips.
So I started, this one's a bit of a mess at the moment, because of the nature of the way that it works.
Oh, pretty. What is this?
I'm all tangled in there. So this is the Lindal Tørkle. Our friends over at
Junction Fiber Mill.
Junction Fiber Mill are having
their
first KAL ever.
Bless their hearts.
And the pattern is by Wöldten. Sorry if I'm saying your name wrong. And we can put a photo of the finished one here so you can see what it looks like.
Yeah.
So I decided to cast on so I've got 2 skeins of Winterberry.
Isn't that
and
beautiful?
You do a lot of short rows. So I've got 2 skeins of Winterberry.
Which is they're making tracks?
Yeah. So that's the other I haven't wound it up
so
yet.
Lovely.
It's very pinky green.
I think we have an order into them soon, if not already in.
Yeah. And then the cream is Savage Heart Farm, which I think I bought it when we went to New Hampshire Sheep and Wool years
Savage
ago.
Heart Farm is is Peg's farm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Peg is the owner with Amanda.
So you work short rows. Mine's a little scrunched up on the needle.
It's lovely. I love that color.
It's really
so raspberry.
Yes, and then I'm getting to the greens, so it's really fun to kind of work through.
Yeah.
And see. So hopefully this will be done. I think it'll be a fairly quick knit.
It's like a kerchiefy shape.
No, it's more like a scarf shape or like a stole shape.
Okay.
But because you're working in short rows right now, it looks like it's connected, but it's not.
Okay. Yeah.
So you can see.
Fun.
So very fun. Yeah, you can see on this end. You do like the little shapes.
Yeah.
It's very pretty.
It is pretty.
It's very addictive.
Yeah.
So.
All right, show us your last whip.
My last whip. This bag is crazy now. My last whip is another everyday DRK Everyday Cowl.
And this is your.
This is my hand spun.
It's gorgeous.
So I'm about to the halfway point here.
Beautiful.
So, and I think it'll go like that. So,
what wool is this?
I don't remember the wool. I know it was by Nest Fiber Co. It was her Sugar Plum Fairy Christmas colorway.
I feel so lucky
like 4 years ago now
to get to see your hand spun because it's always gorgeous and you make such pretty things with it.
Thank you. It's really fun. I'm loving this cowl, using up these single skeins.
Yeah. All the yarn you're making.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
That's my pile of whips.
Well, good. Good. I love it. You're getting lots of knitting in, which is faboosh.
Yes.
I am just not able to knit as long as I used to. That's part of my slowdown, but whatever.
Yeah. Well, I find too having the cowl has been great for if we're watching a movie. Same thing with sleeves. If we're watching a movie.
Yeah, round and round.
Irene and I have been watching so many movies this summer.
Yes.
So those kind of like mindless. I'm finding that the Lindal Tørkle I have to pay a little bit more attention. So
yeah,
that one's just going slower.
There's a section here. Are we doing that?
Yes, I think we should, especially with the Sweater KAL coming up.
All right, so this section is called Historical Knits. And this is where we talk about our historical knits?
Yes.
Okay, in sweaters.
I was very terrible. I didn't really bring any.
Oh, you didn't?
I didn't.
Well, God, here I am to save the day then.
Okay, here you go.
Yes, so I brought historical knits.
I was counting on you.
You know, regular viewers will definitely recognize these, but this is a vanilla sweater which is one of my historical knits and also my design. And it is such an easy, fun knit. Many people now have knitted this because it is a vanilla sweater, which means it's a nice base and you can do all kinds of things like lengthen or shorten or widen or narrow the sleeves. And the length, it's got a little split hem. So we have the vanilla sweater in kits. There's also a course if you want me to join you in the knitting of it. And there is the pattern available on its own too.
Yeah, I think the vanilla sweater is a great choice if you are just getting into sweater knitting. It is knit and fingering weight yarn.
Rama fennel yarn.
But it is also knit at a very loose gauge.
Yes, which is what gives it the drape.
Quickly.
It does, and yeah, exactly. It's a layering piece as well, so you know you can wear it over a nice shirt and what have you. And there's also the vanilla fluff, which I didn't bring, but that's the vanilla sweater with some modifications and also knitted with mohair from Rama. So Rama Plum, and that's really fuzzy wuzzy. And then there's the Victory cardigan, which is knitted with Rama Vams, and it's another sweater. This is knitted in the round and steeked, and there is a video course to get you through that if you haven't done that before. But part of the magic of knitting with woolly wool is that it's perfect for steeking, and so you don't need to worry. I actually have, did I reinforce? I can't tell. I don't know that I reinforced, but I'm not going to say I didn't because I might have. But anyway, that's the steek there. I don't remember. It'll be in the course, I'm sure, and the pattern whether I did or not. Maybe I did, I can't tell. But anyway, I wear this a lot through the winter. It's
been a few years since you knit it now.
Yeah, and it's an Aran weight and it's just lovely. So
yeah, it's an easy cardigan to throw on.
Yep, it's a raglan, so suits many body shapes, but it's fitted. So the whole point of this was that you were learning how to do bust shaping, waist shaping, steeking, and you know, basically making this fit you the way you want it to fit you, which is...
Show them the buttons.
And we have wonderful buttons. These are thistles.
Thistles.
Don't know if you can see it. There you go. And so when you buy the kit in your choice of color, you do get buttons with it, which is really nice. All right.
Yeah.
That's what I brought. What other historical knits?
Well, I think too, we can mention the Dunrobin. It's not necessarily historical, but it is available in the shop now. So if you're looking for, I think for me, these are all, they're tried and true, staple, wardrobe staples that you will knit and then you will reach for
and wear
continually.
Over. Yes. So this is the Dunrobin, which is the latest design, and this is in Letlopi, and we also have it offered in Studio Donegal, and both of them are lovely. They feel different, but so yes, and again, sort of a layering piece. This is knitted at a loose gauge, so it's got drape, and it's got this nice tall. So I'm looking forward to wearing this in the winter time.
Yeah. And this one is a drop shoulder construction.
Exactly, not the raglan. Yes, so it's got a sort of boxy body, and then the sleeves are super fast. You're not on Sleeve Island with them, just zoom, and not much to keep track of in terms of decreases or anything. It's very quick and forgiving. So yeah,
we should show back here. We're really bad about putting things on mannequins and then
not talking about them.
So we have our Joy on Fair Isle t-shirt, but up here is the tapestry cowl, which is one of Corinne's designs.
Yeah.
And this is the original colorway, which there are kits for in the shop. But I know last time it was sitting behind us and somebody asked, and I was like, oh, we never mentioned that.
Right. And that's still one of my favorite color work projects, because you don't need to think about anything except knitting in the round. And I tell you which colors to do. There's also a monochrome pattern as well. 2-color, that's not monochrome. Is it monochrome if it's 2-color?
I think it depends which 2 colors you're using.
Does it?
Yeah, I thought monochromatic had to do with the color tones.
Fascinating. I'm sure you're right.
Let's say I'm right.
Yeah, we'll go with that.
All
right, what's next?
So I think that those are great choices. You can sign up for the Sweater KAL right now on our shop.
Free to sign up for.
For the Sweater KAL, we ask that you use 80% TWT yarn purchased over at any point in time from the shop. So you can go stash diving, you can buy a new kit. We do have some new kits in the shop. These are all just sort of pattern recommendations. You are welcome to choose any pattern that you would like to knit.
That's right. And you can also, get your stuff by the ball. You don't have to buy a kit. We have everything, every iteration available. So go for it, or knit from stash. Go shopping in your own stash pile and work that baby out.
And cast on is
$8.25.
$8.25.
Yeah, August 25th. I'm sure it's a Friday.
Yes.
And I think we're planning a Zoom call once in, I think sort of a halfway through thing. So we'll have that, and there's going to be prizes, and it's just going to be fun. This is one of our bigger cowls that we do in the year, so come and join us and bang out a sweater. You could be thinking about Rhinebeck and what you want to wear to Rhinebeck. This would be a great way to have company while you get ready for that. Or just a winter sweater, and it can be as fancy or as basic as you want. It really doesn't matter. We just love to knit with you. So
in addition to sweaters, we do allow color work vests.
Right, if it's all over color work in the vest.
Otherwise, we ask for some kind of sleeve, but a color work vest because of the work involved in the color work.
That's included.
We allow that.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, there we go.
Yes.
Now, we need to go to Caitlin.
Oh, we haven't gone to anybody yet.
We haven't gone to anybody.
Oh my gosh.
40 minutes in.
Oh, let's go.
Yeah, let's go to Caitlin.
See you on the other side.
Hi everyone, nice to be with you again. I'm Caitlin, part of the Woolly Thistle team, and I have a couple of updates from the last month or so of the making and crafting I've been doing. So I want to show you a project that I have in the works, something else that I worked on during the month of July, and another kind of fun fiber related undertaking I've done recently. First, I'll show you the progress that I've made on my current project, and then we'll go through the other things. So I'm working on the Argyle Tank by Claire Lakewood, and I'm using WoolDreamers Sauna. This is a kind of summery yarn from WoolDreamers that we've gotten in recently. It's 50-50 cotton and wool blend, all fibers from Spain. And so I'm making the Argyle Tank, which is a fingering weight pattern. It originally calls for a linen yarn, I believe. And it's sort of a weird work in progress. It's this kind of scraggly thing right now. The construction is really interesting. So I have that progress to show you here. This is the full back and then part of the front. It's actually, I tacked it down so you could see better the shape, but you actually knit the whole back and forth, and then you split to do each of these like straps, and then bring it around the front, rejoin it in the front at the scoop here, and then knit just like an inch or so. Then I put that on hold, and it's got me picking up some stitches on the side to knit kind of across one half of the front. I'm going to do the same on the other side. And then it's going to have the little tie in the front. So I'm kind of increasing down. As I've just started this, it's getting a little bit like longer in the front, and it's going to be seamed down the center of the front. Then I'm going to have to kind of 3-needle bind off, I think, the front quadrants to the top part that I've already got going on. I think there might even be other grafting, and then there's going to be some just picking up of stitches and binding them right back off again to kind of finish all the edges. So very interesting construction here. It's been a little bit slow going, to be honest. I think it's mainly just because I've had other stuff going on this summer. I love the yarn. I love working with it. I don't mind the pattern. It's, for some reason, not as motivating to me as something like a circular colorwork yoke. That is, to me, like the most addicting kind of project is, colorwork in the round. I don't know if that's the same for you, if you have kind of your go-to project that you know is just going to fly, you're going to love it. Always want to be picking it up. This one's been a little less so for me. It's nothing to do with the yarn or the pattern, more just, I don't know if I'm a little nervous that it's going to turn out, or if it's the back and forth of it, or the kind of needing to read the instructions more frequently because I'm not quite sure what's exactly going on. But it could just be the headspace I've got right now too, with just other busy stuff. But I'm really excited to have this piece. I hope that it fits, and the yarn is, I keep thinking of how to describe how it feels. It feels familiar, but like something other than yarn. I don't know. It's a really nice feel. It's fluffy and soft. Just it feels more like, I don't know, like a brushed, some other kind of fabric. It's really nice. So yeah, I'm thinking of other ways that I can use this yarn. I'm thinking held double for a sweatshirty kind of style. I actually have a Wool and Berries sweater by Joji Locatelli that's pretty close to feeling like a sweatshirt. I knit mine years ago in superwash, but I think this yarn would just be awesome. That's a DK weight, so might be tricky to achieve exactly with this yarn, but something like that, just the sweatshirty pullover, will be awesome. I think Ozetta Haley might have some other patterns in this yarn or in the works in this yarn. The Air Tee is one. I'm thinking maybe her Lakes pullover. I might be wrong. But search for WoolDreamers Sauna and see what excuse you can find to work with it, because I think you'll like it. So part of the reason why that's been slow going is because I got into some other fiber arts this summer. I joined in the Tour de Fleece for the first time. That's a spinning sort of event that goes on at the same time as the Tour de France bicycling spinning. And it's been really fun to get my spinning wheel out this summer, do a little bit more intentional spinning project. And so I've got a big skein of yarn to show for that. I joined the Three Waters Farm team. It's they're a dye shop. They're based in North Carolina, I believe, and I used to be a part of their club where every month they would ship a 4-ounce braid of some sort of hand-dyed fiber. So I had a kind of a stockpile of their yarns. So what I did is I took 3 braids of different colorways and I split them up different ways, and I did a kind of a traditional 3-ply yarn. So I filled a bobbin of each of the braids and then plied them all together, and this is the skein that I ended up with. So it's actually 3 skeins that I've twisted into one. That's what my bobbin could hold, only about 4 ounces. So it's like 12 ounces, and this 3-ply, it's gonna do all kinds of color changing. I think it's probably about a DK or probably more worsted weight. So I've got, I think the Spark Cardigan by Andrea Mallory. This might work well for the contrast colors in that. That's kind of a shawl collar. I think it has a belt and lots of color work. I think this might work nicely for that cardigan. So we'll see if I can get that going this fall. So this was 3 different types of wool and spun separately, but then plied together. I think it worked well. There's a Corriedale strand or ply, Falkland, I think, and an organic Polworth. It was really fun to go right from one breed to the next and feel how different they are, but then how it all kind of works in a skein together. So yep, that was kind of one of my other July projects, maybe why my knitting. I don't have as much to show for that. And finally, the third thing I wanted to kind of walk you through and tell you about was fun thing that I did recently. For the first time ever, I entered a few knitted pieces into our Indiana State Fair for judging, and yeah, I had so much fun with that. I really didn't expect many results, but just wanted to see what the process was like, and I ended up, I'm going to go and hopefully film some footage of the display cases with the finished pieces and ribbons and all that tomorrow. So I'll have added it into this video by the time you are watching. So yeah, we'll add that at the end of this little video here. But yeah, I submitted 6 pieces. A few months ago, registration opened up, and it was just an online choose kind of which categories you wanted to enter pieces into, and I forget exactly what the cost was. I think it was like $5 per entry, and I entered 6 things. That also got me, I think, a free ticket for each entry. So each item that I entered into the competition, I received a free ticket to get into the fair. So that right there was worth it. And as far as the prize earnings go, I think it's like $10 for a blue ribbon, $8 for second place, and $6 for a third. So not anything huge, but just kind of enough to make it fun. So yeah, I saw the results already. I entered in 6 pieces: my pressed flowers cardigan, which you've seen, my Hansel half hap, which you've seen, the Rubani cowl, my own first design that you saw recently, if you're watching previous Shopcasts. I entered in a handspun skein of yarn, a cowl that I knit in a handspun skein several years ago, and the last thing I entered was my little one's Christmas sweater from last year that was in Rambler and had some color work on it. You also probably saw that if you watched a previous Shopcast. I ended up getting second place for 3 things: the pressed flowers, my son's sweater, and the Rubani cowl. Got an honorable mention for, I think, my handspun skein, and then the hap and the handspun cowl didn't get anything. I have a feeling that the lace category I entered the hap in was some stiff competition. Well, yeah, put that video in here at the end so you can see some of the other participants' projects. But yeah, had a really fun time doing that. So if you haven't looked into it before, see if your state does knitted projects or crocheted projects or quilts or fine arts or baking, anything like that might be kind of fun to enter, just to be a part of and celebrate the handwork that we do. So we'll take you around just a little bit of the scenery of the fair here, and thanks for joining me. We'll see you next time. Bye.
So here we are at the Indiana State Fair. I'm going to take you into the arts building and show you around some of the knitted and crocheted pieces that were submitted for judging. The Indiana State Fair runs from the end of July to the end of August, so there's about 4 weeks to enjoy all of the things that the fair has. In here we have all of the baby items that were submitted, and you'll see my son's Christmas sweater there getting a ribbon. The first place one in the corner there is a skein or a husk of corn, which for Indiana seemed appropriate. Here's a lot more knitted and crocheted pieces. I'm especially blown away by all these beautiful crocheted afghans. These are patterns that I wouldn't have imagined possible. Just the level of crochet there is very fascinating. I hope to learn a little bit more as I get my pieces back on what the criteria is for the judging. I'd love to know if it comes down to mainly the intricacy or the difficulty, or if they also considered color choices or the yarns that were put into it, the quality of those. I would love to know how else they compare these projects, because in some categories, there's my Hansel hat there. In some categories, it seems quite difficult to compare. My Rubani cowl there, got a ribbon for a colorwork accessory. There's a gorgeous papillon shawl there. The one next to it has beadwork in it. I think overall, one of the takeaways is just that no matter what has gone into these projects, our making is still very much our own. And so judging or not, if you love your piece, then that's the thing that matters the most. Though I will say it is nice to be recognized for some nice work you've done. There's my pressed flowers cardigan, and I wanted to point out these 2 Marie Wallen sweaters as well. I'm almost embarrassed to say those were in the same category as mine and didn't place as high of a ribbon. I feel like messaging that person to really give them a bigger round of applause for their amazing work there. Here's the colorwork first place winner and some other just really beautiful things. I'm curious if, hand spun or hand dyed by the maker, if that counts. Speaking of hand spun, here's a cowl and a skein of yarn I submitted for the hand spun area here. While we were looking at the case, I met another spinner. We compared wheels and experiences a little bit. It was really fun to kind of stop by and see. These are the beautiful lace pieces that were also submitted. Just really stunning work, and yeah, amazing skill level there. But even looking at the cases of antique quilts and modern quilts and rug hooking and leather work, it's just really fascinating to see all of the arts that people are able to do and to celebrate that. So I'll just recommend you go and check yours out if you have something local to you. Thanks so much.
Thank you, Caitlin, for taking us to the Indiana State Fair and all of that. I'd be really interested to know if you're putting your knits in for ribbons. I've never done it. Have you ever done it?
Done it, no.
We really should. Yeah, because
I never think about it. Like, I don't know.
Do we even have a state fair?
I actually was wondering the same thing. Like, I don't know if I know we have many like county fairs.
Yeah.
But I don't know that we have like it feels like a very Midwestern thing to me to have like
maybe
a really big state fair.
Because she said it was on all month.
Yeah. Like, I know there's the Big E in Massachusetts, which is probably the closest thing I can think to. Yeah. So maybe New England does the Big E.
Okay. I don't know.
I've lived in New England for most of my life.
Yeah, same.
There was a decade in Florida. And then the rest, like, I grew up in New England. I've never been to the Big E. I was actually thinking maybe this year I should take...
I went one year to the Fiber Festival down there. It's all indoors, which is nice because it's in November or something.
But I think that's different from the Big E.
Is it? I thought it was at the Big E.
No,
I thought the Big E was a location.
They're the fairgrounds where the Big E usually is, which that Fiber Fest is at. Yeah. But the Big E is like, because I remember seeing all the commercials come to the Big E, and like the big, like it's a big fair.
I was wondering because the thing I was at was inside and it was huge, but
I'm sure we're gonna have lots of people who are more knowledgeable than us who are gonna drop in.
Instruct us because we don't know. Growing up in Scotland, though, all the fairs we went to were indoors. So.
I just know as a kid, I was always like, let's go to the Big E. And my introverted parents were like, are you crazy?
Wait, you came from introverted parents? You're the least
my dad was pretty extroverted, but my mom was pretty introverted. So
you got the extroverted.
Either way, I didn't go to the Big E.
That's why I love you. You didn't get to go. Oh.
Didn't get to go.
Well, then you should
go.
But
now I'm in control. And
yes.
I could go. I could force some of my introverted family members into the car.
Keep you company. They'll have fun.
Irene will just happily climb in and go to the fair.
She's your little extrovert.
We digress.
Totally.
So we're gonna pick another winner.
Okay.
The second winner of today's episode is at the Whitmore 6. They say, congratulations to all the winners. Loved how giggly you girls were all together.
With Emma.
And great customer segment. What a fun episode.
Emma is something. Isn't she amazing?
She's delightful.
love Emma.
Yes. So at the Whitmore 6, if you can email us at info@thewoollythistle, put prize winner in all caps, we'll get you your $25 gift card.
Hooray! Yes, and if you want to be in the running for the winning, just give us a thumbs up, leave a comment, and subscribe to our channel, which is slowly growing and very exciting. So thank you for showing up here. Yeah. All right, so let's talk about what's coming or what is in the shop quickly.
Yes.
And then we still have to go to Rachel, so hang tight.
Yes.
Yes.
Let's do the big and exciting feels like these bags.
Oh my gosh. So these will actually, these are going on sale before this shows, right?
No.
When does this show?
Friday.
And these go on sale on Friday. So these are, we've had these twice before. They sell out. These are our, I call them a sock pouch.
Although the one that you're holding, we've never had that
This is brand
before.
New tweed. So, okay, let me back up. So Katrina of Studio Tolsta is a Scottish designer who hails from the Outer Hebrides, a place called Tolsta, and hence the Studio Tolsta. And of course, what else comes from the Outer Hebrides is Harris tweed, which is what this is. And only if it's genuine Harris tweed can you get the official government seal, as it were. This is by the Harris Tweed Authority. Harris tweed is handmade by people in their homes. It's wild. So, we have a few new ones, and then we brought back our best sellers. These are great for putting sock projects in. I don't have a sock project handy. There we go. Actually, let's go and coordinate. Look at this. We'll talk about this in a minute. Where's the label? There. But can you see that? Oh my God, that is so cute. I have to have this. But anyway, this is the sock yarn, and then it goes with your needles. Perfect, right? And it's got a nice lovely zipper, really good quality, handmade. Now, Katrina's married to a lovely Indian chap, and they have a little workshop out in India where they make these by hand. And if you go and look at the product page for this, you can see them working in their beautiful studio there. So yes, anyway, I'll talk about that in a minute. Okay, so this is a new one. It's lovely pinks and purples, nice and pale. This one here, all for the teal lovers. It's so pretty. They all have the same inside, which is a nice brushed cotton with a pocket and a really nice zipper and your label. They all have the Woolly Thistle label on them too, which is nice. I have this one at home. I love this. If you're ever lost, or if your bag's ever lost, you're knitting, you're going to find it in this one.
It's such a bright, happy yellow.
It's a very happy yellow. That's what we should call it, happy yellow. Yes, so that's that one. This is definitely a well-loved herringbone design here that always does really well. So if you're in the mood for this one, I would get to the front of the line for this because they'll probably go fast. I never like to assume, but
you never know.
You're right.
Historically, that one has done very well.
And so we brought in the pink herringbone, which I love. Can you say Barbie right now?
Hello, Barbie.
Hello, Barbie. But yeah, another beautiful herringbone with our label and with the Harris tweed. This is one that is just so classic. This lovely green, and there's just so many colors in there. I don't know if you can see on the camera, but yeah, there's sort of yellows and golds. Really woolly wool. Yeah, it's good. And
I know. It smells really nice, this basket.
Yeah. And to think, you know, that these weavers are weaving away in their shed or, you know, in their front yard, wherever. This is another herringbone that's got other colors through it, which is really pretty. Oh, purples and oranges and greens and blues. This is a new one. You love this one? Mm-hmm. A nice, big,
I love all of them.
Yeah,
but that one.
Yeah, nice big tartan kind of check on it, and it's just so juicy berry is what it is. It would go with your what are you knitting that? What's that
the
called?
Lindal Tørkle.
Yeah, I was going to go with
It's fun to say, isn't it?
I'm
probably saying it wrong, but
but that's lovely, isn't it? That's just really. I think this one will be. Yeah. I think they'll all be popular, and this is our Thistle purple, which you can also get the large tote in if we have them.
Yeah.
So this is in keeping with that.
Yeah.
Which is just another juicy berry color.
So these will go live in the shop today at noon.
Today at noon. So yes, if you're watching this and you're interested, you have time. Yes. We love them. We hope they last a little bit so that everyone can get what they want. We worked really hard to get the right number in because we know that many of you have been waiting for these, and now they're back.
These are custom made, so I wouldn't wait too long.
Right. Yes. Yes. So very excited about that. What else do we have?
So
should we talk about West Yorkshire?
So let's talk about. We already gave a little sneaky peek there.
I had to. So yes, West Yorkshire Spinners came out with 4 new bird colors.
Yes. So I did pull the classic bird colors as well because if you've not seen them or if you're...
This one here is blue tit. This one here is...
Robin.
Robin. This one is goldfinch.
This one's wood pigeon.
Love that. That's peacock, I think.
Peacock.
And then down here is owl and mallard, like the duck. So these have been around a long time. Now this is a superwash yarn and it's a sock yarn. And I do love superwash for my socks. That's sort of my own...
These are like the woolliest smelling.
Well,
they're really good.
They are good. And so they've come out with 4 new colors. Sorry, I got totally waylaid there. This one is called Swallow. And they're self-striping with kind of speckles and things thrown into it. So this is, what did I say? Swallow.
If you go to the website, I think that there's a photo of how it knits up.
Green woodpecker, which is, you know, I could see these being really great as a gentleman's sock with a little bit of pizzazz thrown in.
Yeah.
My favorite, Jay. This is Jay. These colors just speak to me. I love them. What's this one?
I like that one.
Darling, and it's got purples and blues and sort of a beige color. What do we call that? Taupe, maybe? That.
Yeah, looks like a light tan or brown.
Light tan.
orangey tan.
Mm-hmm.
It's pretty. That's
so
a
that's
duplicate.
yeah.
So there are 4 new colors.
They're nice, aren't they?
They are really nice.
Yeah. Now these are already in the shop, and I've noticed they are selling well.
Yeah.
Now, yes, for those of you who are curious, we will be getting the new Christmas yarn in as well as soon as that's available. So stay tuned. We'll announce that in email and all
if
the
you're
places.
new to West Yorkshire Spinners, so every year they come out with a Christmas colorway, and we know that the Christmas colorway is coming soon. So as soon as it's available, we will have it for you.
Yes, but West Yorkshire Spinners is an independent mill in the west of Yorkshire, and they're lovely people there, and they have been making worsted spun yarn for a long time, and we have stocked their signature 4-ply, which is what this is, since the beginning of the Woolly Thistle. And they're one of our first brands, and they have just done so well for us. Customers really love this for sock yarn. It's a 25 nylon, 75 wool blend, British wool. So it wears like iron, but it's exceptionally soft feeling. So it's as good as any sock yarn out there. And I like it because it's not hugely commercial, but you know, you get really consistent sock quality yarn out of them. We also have some of their,
and they feel nice and woolly, even though like they don't, it doesn't feel like a superwash yarn to me. Like sometimes superwash yarns just feel so
lifeless. But you can see there's lots of
I don't know what the right word is. I don't know, like smooth. This one's not a fan too much, but like I think this it still feels really woolly, even though it is super washed. So.
And it serves a really good purpose. And of course, you could knit other things with this too. It does come in solids as well, and there is a self-striping line that we have as well, all in the same base.
Yeah, I remember Grady, our customer service rep, she actually marled, I don't remember what colorway it was. I want to say like the owl.
It was the owl, I think.
She marled that with a solid colored gray and knit a sweater for her son.
And it was really nice.
So pretty.
Yeah.
So, and the effect was not anything that I ever would have thought of. So.
Right. So happy to have these. It's nice to have some new shades in that, and like we said, the holiday yarn is coming.
Yes. So those are available now in the shop.
I think the holiday yarn is going to be a little bit limited. We're not getting as much as we'd like.
Yeah,
I think so. There is going to be a bit of a, you know,
we're getting what we can, and we should be able to restock it. So I'm not too worried yet, but we'll definitely be in our newsletter list. If that's something
be on our newsletter.
We will tell our newsletter first when it's going to be arriving.
Okay, what else do we have?
We have so much stuff. So
I'm going to just mention this book while you're thinking and ruminating. Scandinavian Sweaters is a wonderful book that Maggie, you actually knit your sweater out of. I wonder what page it's on. There's all kinds of levels of colorwork sweaters in here. Here we go.
Yeah.
You'll remember maybe if you've been around, Maggie knitted this sweater kind of twice.
So much fun, I knitted twice, yeah.
So that was in here, and I want to knit something from here, and I still haven't.
I can bring it the next episode and
that would be lovely.
Show it. It is wonderful. There are so many patterns in this book that I really want to knit.
Yeah.
On top of like it's just leafing through it. It's just a gorgeous.
It's book. A lovely coffee table book, but yeah, that one has beads and everything. But there's different levels, and it's knit with a lot of yarn that we stock here.
Yeah.
The styling is really pretty. So we have some of these in stock, and we wanted to.
The author of this is Kristen Wheeler Odegaard.
I love that one. I think that's the one I wanted to
She does have a new book, but I think it's only available in her native language. Right. So unfortunately for us, English speakers, has not yet been translated. But I have hope for the future. We do have a couple other beautiful sweater books in the shop. This one is Fisherman's Knits.
Yeah.
Lots of gorgeous sweaters in there too.
Yeah.
Many of these are knit bottom up.
Right.
And then raglan.
Yeah.
Really classic.
In the Fisherman.
Look at the back cover. If you're into cable-y sweaters.
Yeah, I should.
love that sweater.
I know. Yeah. Handsome fisherman.
And then we also have Norwegian sweaters and jackets, which is really beautiful. Oh, I like this one.
The brooding fisherman.
Very pretty.
And there's bits of history in here too.
Yeah.
So these are wonderful. I really like that one.
Great to have in your knitting library.
Yep, fisherman's knits. This one's done really well, actually.
Pretty. Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
So those are available now in the shop. Yeah, so this is coming.
Very special.
Oh, I'm losing one. I may have overfilled the basket. So I really like these.
This is very special from the Woolly Mammoth, none other than our friend Emma at the Woolly Mammoth. And this says limited edition. And this is Swartballs and blue Thistle yarn, 100 gram 4-ply, 50/50 Swartballs or Swartbles and blue Thistle. So this is yarn that she has sourced and spun and has offered to us here at the Woolly Thistle.
Yes.
It's gorgeous. You can see that it's this lovely brown color, which I'm really partial to. There's a lot of silver in it, I would say, which is probably the blue Thistle, I'm guessing, but I don't know. Oh, and there's veg matter, which always excites me. I don't understand people that get upset with that. I love it because it's you know, it's close to the ground. It's from where it came.
It's a sign it came from a sheep.
Yeah, and that it's not been processed. I had the, you know, had all the loveliness processed right out of it. So yeah, so thank you, Emma, for letting us have these. When are these going on sale?
So these are going on sale in August 18th.
August 18th, so not too far away. I'm just gonna sit with these on my lap.
Yeah.
But yes, limited in supply.
They are limited. They are, so we recently had Emma's Hearth sock sets. These are not quite as limited as those, but anything, these limited edition, they are limited. So we do put a time on that launch. Get on our newsletter so that you can know exactly when these are going live, so that you don't miss out.
Yes.
And
there is a Hearth sock update too.
We're working to get more Hearth sock, so there will be more. So be on our newsletter list.
Yes. In the meantime, talking to sock yarn, just quickly, I saw this here.
Oh, yes.
We do want to show you these. This is Rachel from Daughter of a Shepherd. Her sock yarn. We have 2 colors. This is gorgeous. Really bitter dark chocolate. I love this color. And then there's 10% nylon in these just to give it a little bit of strength as well. Yeah. And this is just a bit more of the light.
So the very dark brown is Warnside, and Ingleborough is the medium color.
There is a 3rd color, but we are sold out of these. But these, you know, these are just beautiful to have. Yes,
so
I know.
sheepy smelling.
I know. I love opening boxes from Rachel.
Yes.
They smell so good. All right, what else do we have going on?
The other thing we have for you,
this here?
Lovely, lovely people. That is this year's 12 Days of Christmas box. And that is going on pre-order next Tuesday, which is August 15th.
It's all happening, folks.
It is all happening. And these will be a pre-order. So these are, we call it our 12 Days of Christmas box. It has 12 sneaky peek small items, similarly done to like an advent calendar where everything's a surprise.
All boxed up inside.
And we will tell you that we are featuring yarns from Wensleydale Sheep Shop,
which is
featuring their tweed.
Right. So Wensleydale wool in little 25 gram mini little balls. They're absolutely adorable. Yeah. From Wensleydale. So yeah, so you will get 6 of those hidden away in 6 boxes, and then there'll be 6 other wonderful surprises that are perfect for your own little 12 Days of Christmas surprise. Buy it for yourself, buy it for a loved one as a gift. When will these ship out? Not until...
So these will ship out very beginning of November.
Yes. So we're starting, yes, so they're going live on August 15th. Last year we did this for the first time. It was really fun. They sold out before we started shipping them out. Yeah. So, yeah.
So,
and it ships out right in that box, does it not?
It does. So it's like you get your own little gift box. Yeah. Or it makes a great gift for that special knitter in your life.
Or crocheter maybe.
Absolutely. Yeah. So those will go on sale on the 15th.
Yes. So, okay. So anything else we want to make sure we mention?
Those are the big things.
Rambler's coming back.
This episode is getting long. Yes. Rambler is coming back. Okay. There are so many amazing sort of yarns and wools in the shop right now.
There is. We're
so much.
Please come visit us. There's so much. good stuff. We can't keep it all to ourselves.
Yeah.
Now, let's go to Rachel. And we'll let Rachel take us out.
Sounds good.
And there'll be some wonderful knits from you lovely people as well at the very end. We always do that. So stay tuned right to the end. I think, Maggie, all that's left to say though is if you go out,
take your knitting.
Bye.
Hello Woolly Thistlers, it's Rachel from Barkland Croft here in Fair Isle. And just look what weather we've been having in July. Gone was the sunshine that we had in June, and it was almost as though we'd gone straight into autumn as soon as the calendar page turned. The only good thing to happen at the start of July was that after months and months of being without a vehicle, I finally got a new wheel for my car, which was great, and then less than 3 weeks later the brakes completely failed on it, so we're back to Shanks's pony. The wet weather meant that Grace had to come inside, but Humpty made sure he kept her company overnight so she didn't get lonely. I'd been so hopeful for Grace making a full recovery from losing the use of her legs, but unfortunately she went downhill. I would go and sit with her at night just to check on her, and one night, as I was sitting with her, her body just decided to give up and she slipped away. The weather did not let up, and looking at this clip now, you'd be forgiven for thinking that it was November rather than the middle of summer. Would you believe it? I even had the fire lit because it was so cold and damp in the house. I really hope you've enjoyed taking part in the sock sprint recently. A few years ago, this was the very first pair of socks that I knitted. And I loved the pattern so much that I just recently knit myself a second pair. The yarn that I used is called Croft by West Yorkshire Spinners, and it's an Aran or worsted weight. And I can highly recommend both the pattern and the yarn. The next project I've begun is this lovely cable work kind of cape, which was from an article in the Knitter magazine. I'm using Jamieson's of Shetland Marl, which is a chunky weight yarn, and it's in this lovely gooseberry colourway. Finally, we got a day of good weather, so my first job of the day was to head down to the shop, and here's just some of the view as I walk down. Then it was back to clipping, and here I am with Fandango, who was very chilled out through the whole thing. So chilled out that when I'd untied her so that she could go, she was quite happy just to lie there and relax. I think it must have been a nice soft bed for her. Yeah, you're feliz. Brandywine liked to keep an eye on what I was doing and was particularly interested in this fleece. As it had been such a nice day, I felt sure that we'd be in for a good sunset too. So I headed up to Northlight and sat and watched the sun go down and took some photos and a time-lapse video clip for you. There weren't too many puffins around, but I did spot this little guy, and although the photos aren't very good quality, hopefully you can make out that he has a beak full of sand eels ready to feed his family with. This little rabbit also popped out to say hello. It's been lovely to see the irises starting to open, and really thrilling to see my herbs and strawberries doing well in their pots. I clearly jinxed things in my last episode by saying that I hope to have all the sheep sheared by the end of July. Unfortunately, this has been the weather for a lot of July. Grey, wet and foggy. When we do get a dry day, the sheep barely have chance to dry out and for me to start clipping before it's wet again. Looking on a positive side though, I've been quite glad of the miserable weather because for all of July I've been back doing my old admin job working for Shetland Nature, which is a wildlife tour company based in Shetland. I've just been covering my friend Susanna, who now does that job whilst she and her family had a well-deserved holiday. The cats have pretty much refused to leave the bedroom, but when it's been wet outside, it's been a great opportunity to catch up on the woolly thistle and get some knitting done. Meg got rather overexcited when she spotted Mary, Minnie Milk and Rosebud on the television. Every day now she likes to round up Sylvia and bring her over to me. Sylvia just takes it all in her stride, isn't bothered in the slightest. But as I say to Meg, if you can do this with hens and cats, why on earth can't you do it with the sheep? In spite of the dull and gloomy weather, we had the first of our hill cars. This is where we gather all of the free-roaming sheep that live in the north of the Isle and bring them down to the crew or the enclosure, and then we can check on them, make sure the lambs are doing okay and shear or clip the sheep. Moga. I spotted my old friend Pirate Sheep. I call her that because it looks like she's got a pirate's eye patch. Of course, it's sod's law that the days we have good weather are days that I've been on duty at the museum. and on this particular day I checked the forecast, 0% chance of rain the entire day, and so put my laundry out, and when I finally got home this was the weather. We had several cruise ship visits throughout the month of July, and it's been great to meet so many different people from all around the world. I was so excited though when the Island Princess came in and I met a real life woolly thistler in person. I think your name was Annie. It was so nice to meet you, and if you're watching this then hello and thank you so much for visiting the museum that day. July is also the month that baling tends to get done on the Isle. This is where the grass that we've been growing since May gets cut, dried to a point, and then wrapped into bales, and we use that to feed the sheep through the winter. So here's Ian on the tractor just cutting the first lot. Baling this year hasn't been a particularly enjoyable experience. I won't go into too many details about it here as I don't feel it's the right platform, but I will talk about it in my next Patreon video. Last year I got 202 bales in total from my 3 silage parks. This year I've only got 134, so I'm already fighting a losing battle, as you can imagine. At the end of July you can see that already the nights are starting to draw in. I think this was about 10:30 at night, and that's the moon just rising there. There's Mary, Minnie Milk and Rosebud with Humpty. And this black mass moving along is naughty Lancelot, who decided to join them. Minnie Milk somehow managed to nick his ear. I'm not sure whether he got it caught in the fence or what, but he's absolutely fine, and he's had some magic blue spray on to make it better. With all my time in July being taken up either by working for Shetland Nature or trying to get sheep clipped, my vegetable patch has really suffered, and I've really struggled to keep on top of the weeds. As you can see, that side I didn't have anything planted apart from my squashes, which actually seem to be doing okay, which is very exciting, and they're starting to get some flowers on them. Strawberries and herbs are doing pretty well. I'm really pleased with them. And look, my first strawberry, and it tasted really good, I have to say. Sadly, some naughty sheep decided to break in to where I have Blossom's grave and had planted some flowers. So unfortunately, all the sweet peas are gone. The violet cress has been decimated, but hopefully some of it might continue to grow. Before I go, I just wanted to thank you all so very much for all the kind comments you put on my last video about Merrylegs. I was so incredibly touched to receive in the post this beautiful painting of little Merrylegs by one of my very kind patrons. It really was such a thoughtful gesture, and I hope they don't mind me sharing it on here with you. Thank you.